Newsroom.
Yes, can I speak with one of the reporters?
You can talk to me. You got a story that you're looking at?
Sure. What was your name?
My name's Eric.
Hi, Eric. Yes, I do. My name is Marc Stevens. I do a radio show based here in the Valley, and I've been doing some I also do investigative journalism for the show, and I've been doing some investigating with the Tempe city government. And what I'm able to show in a nutshell is that the cops and prosecutors are colluding with the judges because the judges are picking up the burden of proof for the cops and prosecutors to then, of course, collect tens of millions of dollars in fines. And I've been able to prove that the cops and prosecutors don't have any evidence to prove jurisdiction, which is, of course, what a prosecutor has to prove when they haul somebody into court. So I've gone through with the city council twice. I have the video on my website where I asked the council a number of times for the last few months to produce evidence that their codes apply or their laws apply to me or anyone else in Tempe. And the best they could do is say, because we said so. The city attorney has no evidence. Her entire prosecuting staff has no evidence.
I'm sorry. So you're saying that laws don't apply to you?
I'm saying there's no evidence. They don't have any evidence of that.
So I'm just trying to understand the argument here. So laws, all laws, or is there a law in particular that you're looking at?
We're talking about political laws. So if we're talking just here in Arizona, that they can't prove that the state code or the Tempe city code apply. And I've done this in court personally. I've spoken with the police chief, and the police chief doesn't have the evidence.
I'm sorry to interrupt again. I'm just trying to get my mind around this. So you're saying that, like, murder doesn't apply to you? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, that's I'm saying that there's no evidence the code applies. It's not an excuse to go out and kill anybody. Like the Arizona revised statutes.
So the state laws don't apply to you because why?
There's no evidence.
What evidence? They just apply to everybody, right? That's the way.
Well, that's not evidence.
When you're like in a society, societal laws, people agree to elect leaders that make laws, and they apply to everybody that lives in that society. Is that what you're talking about, or are there like specific things you're talking about?
Well, what I'm saying is when you get charged by a cop for violating the state code or the Tempe code or the Mesa code, that there's no actual evidence the code applies to you. You can have the political platitudes, such as, well, you're like the council member did on my show last week, but that's not actual evidence. So okay. I've had prosecutors.
When you say evidence, I mean that's the social contract, right?
That's
Jefferson and all that kind of stuff.
Well, that's an opinion. There's no actual evidence.
Jefferson opinion. And then when you keep saying evidence, I don't understand what you mean by evidence.
You don't know the difference between evidence and an opinion?
Not in this context.
Well, an opinion is something that's drawn from a set of facts. Let's say a statement, an event, or something that's happened,
right.
Something that's tangible. An opinion is something that's drawn from that. So an example that I use is if I accuse Mr. X of assault and battery, that doesn't tell you anything. It gives you absolutely no context because it's just an opinion. But if I say that Mr. X yelled...
you have to have the evidence to back it up.
Yes. And so the idea that the Constitution applies to everybody is just an opinion that has no actual tangible evidence.
Well, I think I know where you're coming from, and I think we're going to pass on the story there.
So if there's evidence that there's a $1 million scam,
you're just talking a little. I don't want to call you any names, but it's just I don't think it's a story we're going to do anything with.
But you're saying I'm some kind of conspiracy theorist?
I didn't say anything. I'm just saying it's a story we're not going to take up.
You wouldn't even look at the evidence?
I don't think there is any evidence.
I've got a video on my website.
It might just be my opinion, but there's no evidence.
I've got a video on my website where I was directly confronting the Tempe City Council.
Right, and laws don't apply to you because there's no evidence.
Well, he said, you want the evidence? The evidence is because we said so.
Okay.
That doesn't strike you as even...
It strikes me that your argument is invalid.
You believe that there is evidence that the laws apply?
I believe that your argument is invalid.
So you believe that there is evidence the laws apply?
I believe there's a Constitution, and it delineates laws to state and local government, all other things that aren't in the Constitution. So if you don't think the Constitution applies to you, then yes, your argument in your mind would be valid, but outside your mind, I believe that it's not valid.
So what evidence would you say there is to prove the Constitution applies?
The city code, the state code, the social contract.
What evidence do you have the Constitution applies?
What do you mean by evidence, sir. You keep
See,
saying
again,
evidence.
so you're going to turn around and say that my
Right.
position has no merit, and you don't even understand what I'm asking. You're saying the Constitution does apply.
All right.
I'm asking you
I'm
for
going to hang up the
evidence.
phone now because this conversation
Is there
gone
another reporter who may be
2:04.
willing?
No, we're not going to do anything with it.